So we're not actually going to do code example here. We're going to do a design example. I want to come back to the exercise you saw a second ago inside of the video you probably just watched. So we had a question of creating a hierarchy of persons, and then I did the somewhat leading question of, hey, by the way, what the context matters. So just make up some stuff. So context matters. So I want to come back to that question and guide you through the exercise for a context. A couple different contexts. Let's talk about it. So we have a person out there, and again, we need to figure out some context for what you might have for a person. So let's say I have a big company I'm selling stuff out of. So what do I care about people? Well, let's think about the things I would say from the different ways I might represent people. And again, we can start with brainstorming. We don't have to be perfect inside of this. So I'm just going to copy and paste this here. I could say I have a person that is a customer, right? Definitely we're going to have some of those out there. I could have somebody who is a employee, right? And there's different types of employees. I have your everyday employee, but I also have managers. All right, so I can keep going from here. I just want to start with a few examples. Are these all relevant to the context we're talking about? And the question is maybe, maybe not. It depends. How does it depend? Well, is the customer a role that people play at different points in time, as opposed to an employee, which is a different role people play at points in time, but they don't really have anything to do with each other. So if I go to my website and I'm a customer, and that's fine, and if I go to the website as an employee and I'm a customer and I have no special benefits, then there's no reason to have employee or managers even be part of my diagram. I just leave those off to the side. So in that case, I wouldn't have to worry about this, but obviously I didn't put them on here to not have to worry about them. So let's get a little bit more specific inside of this. So in customers, maybe there's a couple different types of customers I could talk about. There's a regular customer we'll call a customer as somebody who's signed up, and then we'll have a person who's a guest. So a guest has, they're not signed up. I don't necessarily know anything about them. So a guest could be just random person hitting the website, and it goes from there. So I'm not necessarily advocating for them, as a place where you should shop, but I do love going to Amazon.com, because you can go to Amazon.com without logging in their site, and if you come back there on the same computer, it will remember that you were there. It will remember that you have bought stuff. Really cheap e-commerce sites, and there's lots of them out there, they drive me crazy sometimes, because I will go to a site, I'll look around, I'll maybe even put something in a shopping cart, I'll get distracted and go away. The next day I come back and then everything's gone. I've forgotten my shopping cart. I have to start over from scratch. Where, as I said, a really cool thing about Amazon is they actually keep track of your guest, and there's a way to go from guest to becoming a customer. Now that becomes hard in this world of that, but I just want to talk about all these different scenarios so you can understand what the context of modeling is. So sorry, I went down to the slide. So what I want to do is I want to bring over and start attaching these. So a guest is a type of person, but I can also say a customer is a type of person. So if this is unrelated, I probably wouldn't include this in the diagram at all. If it is related, I got to decide how it's related. So I might say, I have special types of customers which are employees, and so I might want to create a special class of employee for my application that is a type of customer. And I might have a special class of employees even further, which is a manager. So maybe an employee gets a discount automatically, or they get free shipping, or they get something along those lines. Maybe a manager gets a better discount, or maybe they get, maybe they can buy stuff for other people that maybe employees can only ship to their home. Managers can ship to any place else. They can buy stuff for other people. That's the question. It's one of context and behavior. If I don't care about these behaviors, then they don't matter. I don't need to model them. Again, this is for modeling one very specific piece of functionality, buying stuff on a website. I am not attempting to model the employee for how I'm going to give them their paycheck, how I'm going to manage their time off. I mean, if those things are unrelated to buying stuff on the website, I certainly don't need to model them here. When I model software, I am not modeling a person for all pieces of software in my whole company for all time. Sometimes you try and do things like that, and generally they don't fail. When I model software, it's for this moment in time. Think of it this way. You don't want your home life to be treated as if you're an employee of a company. When you work for a company, they give you a computer, they monitor your internet activity, they tell you which programs you can and can't install. That can be frustrating if you can take home that computer if you have a laptop, but fundamentally, it's their computer. That role doesn't translate to your home computer. It wouldn't be fair of your company to say, we need to know all your activity on your home computer. You wouldn't stand for that. Same thing in software. I can model things in a different way. The computer, as used by the company, is used differently than it is at home. So when you're doing your modeling, think about the things that are in common. What we want to think about is what behavior and data is in common here. I talked about this conceptually. Now we can apply the test. So when you talk about a person, what things are going to be true for a person? They're going to have a first name. They're going to have a last name. They're going to have a login name. They have an email address. Well, wait. I don't have that for a guest. So that doesn't make sense. That's not true for a person. A guest, all I really have for a guest is maybe an IP address or a cookie ID. Something like that. So really, customer has first name, last name, email address, username, password, all that sort of stuff. So guest has email address. Person might have nothing in it. Might just be a grouping for saying, hey, I have all these things out there. People who can shop. So I might need to play that out. Okay, so then what does employee have that customer doesn't? Well, employee has an employee ID number. They have whether they're verified as an employee. What does a manager have? The manager has. Again, they have this special permission of being verified as being a manager. Maybe they have a list of additional residencies they can ship stuff to. There are going to be things that are common, ideally. There's going to be things that are added inside of there. I should not see things in each of these subclasses that should be up top. So if, for say, I keep track of the customer's home IP address, that should be something that's part of the person class. Now wait, how do I get it in here? I mean, I'm showing all these boxes. Well, this is where I have this second slide attached here. And this is going to be something you could download and use. You are getting asked to draw UML diagrams. You may or may not have a tool to let you do UML diagrams. And I'm not going to require you to go off and do that. This is not what part of this class for. I don't have time to go teach you that on top of everything else. So you can just use my PowerPoint slide. Go to this PowerPoint slide and do exactly that. So I have my slide up above. I can go change product. I can change it into person. Here, I have an abstract class person. And so for all people that visit my site, I'm going to have an IP address. And then one type of those is going to be guest. The other type is going to be customer. And you see I can drag this out. There's customer here. So I say get price here. And I can say get IP. We'll just move that here. And so what is customer going to have? It's going to have first name. Oh, I need to extend my box, make it a little bit bigger. Last name. Okay, well, I don't want to keep making it bigger, so what I can do at this point is I can move around some of the boxes on the inside by doing this. I can go through and I can say group, ungroup. This is all PowerPoint stuff. I'm not really trying to teach you how to do PowerPoint per se, but I can now make these boxes bigger in different ways, move them around, give me some more space inside of there. So there is options for you to do this stuff, to be able to do it in PowerPoint if you haven't used them before. And then you have behaviors like here, which is order. And then if I want to do another class, I can keep that one. I can copy paste this. I can take this whole class right here, copy paste down here, and then I add in guest. All right, and whatever else additional things happen there. By the way, if you do ungroup it, you can say regroup, and it'll put everything back together, and then it becomes an object you can move all at once again. Your modeling should be fairly low key. You have only 4 classes required: 1 superclass, 3 subclasses. And so you shouldn't have to go super crazy, but this is an option for how you can do that modeling for your discussion board. Whatever you build in your modeling is what you're going to build in code, which we'll see in later demos. But this is a start for a little bit about how we can do that modeling and some of the concepts around it.